Hi Gemini, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. Don't forget to subscribe down below so you won't miss any future videos. So this is the Gemini reading for the remainder of August. I know it's a bit late, so I'm going to be getting my readings out at the beginning of the month usually. I mean in the future, but this month was just hectic. So this will be for the rest of August, and this is for the sign of Gemini in your sun, moon, rising, or Venus signs. It should apply. So let's tap right into your energy and let's get into the reading. Ace of Swords, okay. Page of Swords in reverse. High Priestess card. Okay, so Ace of Swords. I feel like because my lighting is so bright, I hope you're able to see these cards. Ace of Swords, Page of Swords, High Priestess. So I feel like in the recent past, because these are in the past position, I feel like in the recent past, so this could be the beginning of August or right before August. This actually could go back as far as June. Actually, that's what I just heard intuitively. So you did gain some type of clarity about a situation, some clarity that you were waiting on, because I heard finally, like in my head, you finally gained some type of clarity about a situation that you were trying to really figure out by, you could have been like spying, or you could have been doing a lot of research or asking a lot of questions and just not getting the answers that you needed. So you finally figured it out. I feel like you followed your intuition and guidance and figured out whatever this was that you needed to figure out. This could have been about a person, because this is, I'm focused more on these readings on love and spirituality, because that seems to be what people need the most guidance in. So I feel like this could have been a situation where you could have found something out about someone, like a specific person, or just you having some sort of clarity in general. You really tapping it into your intuition in a way that you were able to really trust your mind instead of trusting, what am I hearing? It's like trusting your intuition at the same time, because, okay, how do I put this? Because usually when it comes to intuition, it's kind of like you can't really trust your mind, because intuitively, a lot of intuitive messages come from the heart space. But I feel like you were trying to figure it out with your mind, and then you ended up figuring it out with your intuition over your mind. Okay, that's a really confusing message. Okay, let me keep pulling, because that was that was a confusing message, but I hope that it resonated, or I hope it made sense. It's like, this is a Gemini trait, of course, trying to really sit down and analyze the situation and figuring it out, and not being able to rest unless you figure it out. But I feel like some of you have really tapped into, like I said, your intuition to the point where you felt like you didn't have to use your mind. It's kind of like downloads, I'm feeling. Like you were trying to use your 5 senses in order to figure something out mentally, but then you started getting downloads intuitively that were like giving you clarity about the situation that your 5 senses would not have been able to help you get clarity on. So you did use your thought process, but it was kind of like a higher knowledge instead of using your 5 senses to process whatever this was. Okay, that's what I was hearing. I was confused for a second, but you know, Gemini mind, you know how that goes, that duality in the mind. So let's look at the present position. The Temperance in reverse, the 8 of Wands, ooh, and the 10 of Cups. So this is your present energy. And the 3 of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck. Actually, let me show you this. So I feel like a lot of you are in this energy of feeling like you don't want to hear shit. That's literally what I just heard. You don't want to hear shit from anybody anymore. Because I feel like you've been in some type of state of confusion because you have been looking outwards or asking questions or trying to get answers from people. So now you don't want any answers from anybody. You're just like, I'll figure this shit out on my own. And you may have figured it out with this Ace of Swords here in the past, but the Temperance card is now telling me that whatever this clarity was that came into you, it actually is now making you feel imbalanced. It's like the clarity that came in is making you feel it's like, even if when you do get clarity, if it's something that you necessarily didn't want to hear, or it's bad news, or it's something that kind of like shakes you up or kind of has a large impact on your life, it can make you feel energetically imbalanced for a while. The truth does set you free, but it's going to hurt like hell first. So I do feel like there was a truth or something that you did find out, and now it is causing you to feel imbalanced. Or you could just feel imbalanced because you are annoyed at the fact that you were kept in the dark, or that you could not figure whatever this was out, that you spent so much time trying to figure it out. And because this is present energy, I feel like this is something that you are struggling with right now. Like, I don't feel like this is something that, like, let me pull one more for that. Because I don't feel like, I do feel like some of you are energetically balanced, like, right now. Like, as you're energetically imbalanced, like, as you are watching this video right now. Because, yeah, when we are in this state of needing to figure out the truth and going around and around in our heads, that can piss an air sign off, because we already spend so much time in our heads. It's like, why not just tell the truth? Like, why keep me in a state of like confusion? So yeah, that does make us feel imbalanced because it pisses us off, and like you're playing with our intelligence at the same time. So Geminis, I feel you on that. Let me clarify. The Queen of Swords in the reverse. So I feel like the Queen of Swords energy is your natural born instinct to just like cut shit off when things are not seeming right. Like, when you make up your mind to cut something off, you cut it off. And I feel like you may have gone against your natural instinct and not have done that in the past, and that's why you feel so like off balance, because you kind of went against your nature, you went against your better judgment, and probably stayed in a situation that just was not going anywhere. Some of you could be twin flames, because as soon as I said this, I looked up and I saw 717 on my camera. So some of you could be twin flames. Wouldn't be surprised, because twin flame readers, and I am a twin flame as well, we usually do attract twin flames to our readings. So, like I was saying, you could have went a bit against your better judgment, or you're just feeling like remorse or regret over the fact that you did not cut the situation off sooner, that you were thinking with your heart instead of your head. And it's still making you feel a bit imbalanced, but I feel like there's no need. I mean, I'm not going to say there's no need to feel imbalanced, but I feel like this was some sort of lesson in in getting in touch with your intuition, because I feel like after this situation, you're never going to question your intuition again. So I feel like it could have been, it may not feel like it, but it could have, like, the situation could very well be worth it in the end, because you did get a valuable lesson in learning how to really trust your intuition, and to not like go seeking answers on a third dimensional level, meaning like social media spying, or like trying to press somebody for answers, or like just in general in life. This is an important lesson to learn, like how to really get in touch with source, get in touch with a higher power, and let those downloads come in. The High Priestess is also about, though, like the balancing out of your shadow and light side. So I feel like in this situation, a lot of your shadow could have came to the forefront, and you have to understand that that is something that's important too in getting in touch with your higher power, because it's important for you to acknowledge your shadow side and your light side in order for you to integrate those two together. And that's how you really get in touch with your soul, really get in touch with yourself. And in doing that, that's when you really can get in touch with your higher power and with your intuition. So I feel like being kept in the dark and you going against your better judgment, or you staying in situations too long, like, it really did bring the shadow side out of you. But I feel like that's a good thing, because you're needing to integrate your shadow and light side in order for you, like I said, to spiritually ascend. So this Eight of Wands being here, this talks about fast action or fast movement. So this could be you wanting to move forward, but I also see Wands as like a very spiritual card. So I feel like the Eight of Wands sometimes can talk about fast spiritual movement, like fast spiritual growth, rapid spiritual growth. So I feel like through this situation, you have grown on a spiritual level very quickly. You know, which is sometimes very painful, because when we grow at an accelerated rate, sometimes it's because there was so much pain that was involved in it. So we had to push through it and grow. The Nine of Pentacles being at the bottom of the deck. Ooh, mind frame. The Nine of Pentacles being at the bottom of the deck. So some of you, this situation taught you independence. It taught you to really like build yourself back up from scratch, is what I'm seeing. How to really like pick yourself back up and get your independence back. Because I feel like with the Wheel of Fortune, I'm seeing the Wheel of Fortune and the Knight of Wands here as well. Sorry, camera cut off. I know in these readings I'm always saying like my camera cut off, my camera cut off. It's because I have the Sony a5100 and I have a lot of studio lighting, so the camera overheats and it just kind of shuts down. So what what I was saying was that I feel like this was a cycle that you were really stuck in and that you were trying to find your way out of, and that it's finally ending and is teaching you independence. It is getting you back in touch with your self-care, with your self-love, like building yourself up, because sometimes we have to be torn down to our lowest points in order to build ourselves back up to a state of mind and a state of being that is better than when we first started the cycle. So you are coming out of the cycle better than you were before, and that's the whole point. Like, that's the whole point of these like soulmate experiences, these love experiences, these life experiences. It's like coming out of a situation where you were stuck or you felt like you had bad luck, really picking yourself up, moving forward, and coming out as a better version of yourself. So I'm also seeing the 10 of Cups here in the present position. So some of you, it's interesting that this is here because the Temperance card is here in the reverse. So I feel like although some of you are feeling imbalanced, you are trying to get to this state of 10 of Cups, this state of happiness and this state of joy. Like, some of you are trying to figure out what it is that's going to make you feel genuinely joyful, genuine happiness, like not just egotistical on the surface level happiness. Like, you want something that is genuinely going to fill your heart up. And I feel like with the High Priestess here, some of you are getting in touch with your spirituality, and that's what's actually bringing you happiness. Like, some of you could have just started your spiritual journey, or you could have been on a spiritual journey, and now, like, through the situation, because you have gotten so much in touch with your higher self and your higher power, that you are now finding joy in spirituality or in your spiritual practices. And I feel like some of you intuitively, you are being guided and shown the direction to your happiness, and now all you have to do is get in alignment with that and follow it. Some of you are getting intuitive, like clues, could be through dreams and things like that, of happiness that is on its way to you, but you probably just can't see it yet because you're feeling so imbalanced. Let me pull one more. The Emperor in reverse. Ooh, interesting. Let me pull one more for that. The Emperor in reverse and the 7. Oh, okay, I know exactly what this is saying. The 6 of Swords. So the Emperor in reverse and the 6 of Swords. I feel like, and then with the 10 of Cups being here, I feel like the happiness that you are seeking or that you are wanting, it is coming from you falling into a state of surrender, not trying to control any outcomes as of right now, kind of letting the divine or God or spirit move you away from this turmoil that you've been in, or like this state of mind of feeling imbalanced, kind of like really surrendering, letting go and letting God, and allowing God to kind of bring you into peaceful, calmer waters. It's like, I feel like the situation has really taught you how to surrender. Because I feel like a lot of energy of you trying to figure things out, you trying to really like predict outcomes, or you trying to really like, you know, doing the Gemini thing, the air sign thing of like really overthinking the situation and trying to figure out everything on your own, and not really surrendering to a higher power and understanding that there are some things that are hidden for a reason, some things that you can't see about your future for a reason, and kind of just surrendering to that fact and allowing, like I said, God or the divine to kind of take you away, like go with the flow. The Hangman is at the bottom of the deck, and that is like the Pisces card, the Enlightenment card, and Pisces are very good at this, at kind of letting go and going with the flow. So I feel like that's the energy that you are needing to step into, of learning how to surrender to the universe. Because I feel like, see, this is so crazy. The Fool card being here, and then the 2 of Cups being here, I feel like when it comes to things you are emotionally invested in, you have a hard time surrendering to the universe. And that makes sense, because you as a Gemini, you want to know, like, you want to know that things are exactly as they seem. Like, you want to be kind of in control, like you're always trying to figure things out, always playing chess, trying to figure out your next move, your next step. And I feel like this was a lesson in learning how to kind of surrender. And like when things, especially if like you were dealing with a soulmate who was putting you in the dark, or like not giving you the clarity that you needed, instead of trying to figure it out, it would have probably been in your best interest to kind of surrender. Because when you surrender and you get quiet and you get centered, that's when your intuition kicks in and tells you everything you need to know, and you don't need to kind of torture yourself mentally trying to figure things out. So there are spiritual lessons here that you were meant to learn through the situation, even though it seems like it's something that's annoying to you. Like, I'm getting like an annoying energy, like you're just annoyed by the whole situation. So let's pull future outcome cards that we will clarify in the extended. the Eight of Cups in reverse, Four of Cups in reverse, and the Five of Swords in reverse. The Eight of Cups in reverse, talking about you still may not being able to walk away from a situation, even though physically you have. This talks about maybe not being able to walk away emotionally, so we'll look at that in the extended. The Four of Cups in reverse, so this is good. This is talking about letting go of the past, no longer focusing on it. And the Five of Swords in the reverse, this talks about this could talk about a few messages from what I'm hearing. I'm hearing ego, a lot of ego battles, ego wars, needing to get the upper hand. So we will clarify that in the extended. I will leave the link to that down below, and I will see you guys over there.